Hello, so today we're talking about analyzing graphs of polynomial functions. So you want to make sure you have your graphing calculator, your TI-84 or 83, 89, whatever calculator you have. You want to make sure you have that out for this particular video. Following along the textbook, we're on section 4.5, which is on page 262. Again, this is the Glencoe Algebra 2 2018 version of the textbook. So right now we're just making basic sketches. We need to use our table of values. We will eventually learn other methods to graph these, to plot them more accurately. They don't require to have a whole series of points going from -3 to +3. But that will be in the future. For right now, we're just creating a table of values. Now, zeros are roots. These are where we cross the x-axis. You'll find sometimes a 0 shows up very nicely on the table. You'll have like an x value of like 2 and a y value of 0. It means it crosses exactly at 2. Other times, the 0 will be a decimal, and it won't show up in the table of values. But you will know a 0 is there, we will cross, because you're going to go from a positive y to a negative y, or negative y to a positive y in consecutive x values. Like for example, x is 3, then goes to 4, y goes from -2 to 1, which means somewhere in between 3 and 4 for the x we're going to cross. So like maybe 3.3 or 3.4, something like that. The key is, again, we're doing a sketch. It doesn't matter exactly where it crosses, we just know that we need to cross it at that point. So for each one of these problems, we're doing 4 of them, we want to create, again, table of values from -3 to 3, and then plot the points on a graph, generally a 10 by 10 grid. So for this first one, we have x to the 5th minus x cubed plus 5x minus 2. So again, we're going to plot that. So we have x to the 5th minus x cubed plus 5x minus 2. And then we want to use our table function. So again, it's generally second graph for your TI-83 or TI-84s. If it's something else, just make sure you let me know. And again, we should be going by ones. So, and we want to start at -3. So at -3 for x, we have -233 for y. And then -36, -7, -2, +3, +32, and +229. Now obviously some of these values we can't plot. Anything that's in the double or triple digits we won't be able to plot, but we know the general direction. Here at -3, we're going to have super negative value for y, so it's going to keep on being down there. So we can plot -1, -7. We can plot 0, -2. We can plot 1, 3. And we can't plot anything else. So we can see that the general trend will be going from the bottom and kind of going up and hitting all those points. I apologize for the weird curve right there. My pen kind of slipped when I was writing that. As long as you kind of make it look like it's supposed to look, going like straight up kind of thing, I'm not going to go crazy with correcting that, but please make sure you plot the points correctly and then move in the correct direction. So our graph will look something like that. And that's the whole idea behind each one of these graphs. We just want to plot the points and then see what we get. So for the next one, we have x to the 4th minus 2x cubed minus x squared plus 2. And again, we're doing our table of values from -3 to 3. We'll have 128, 30, 4, 2, 0, -2, +20. So we can't plot the double-digit numbers, so we can plot -1, 4, 0, 2, 1, 0, 2, -2. Now here's the thing, we're going to make sure you're paying attention to the extremes that we can't plot. -3 is a positive 128, so we know we're coming from above. Kind of hitting those points. Now, after point 2, even though we're at -y, point 3 is at a positive y value, so that means we need to jump back up to create our curve. Because it's going to eventually have to read a positive 20. So it's not going to continue in a downward trend in that case. So always pay attention. Don't just connect the points and keep the trend going based off the points. Look at the other values for the x's and the y's to see, do we need to stay going up or do we need to keep on going down? That will tell you what's going to happen for, again, your future values. So for this one, we have negative x cubed. So negative x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4. So we plot those values. We're at positive 50, positive 16, 0, negative 4, negative 2, 0, and then negative 4. So we can't plot the first two negatives, so we can plot negative 1 is at 0. Where 0 is at negative 4, 1 is at negative 2, 2 is at 0, and then 3 is back down to negative 4. Now again, negative 3, when x is negative 3 or negative 2 are high positive values, so we know we're coming from above. So we hit our points, go back up, and then it's back down, and there's our general shape like that. Again, I'll purposely make sure our graphs, the range where we're going the extremes, going way up or way down, is clear after, either before the negative 3 or after the positive 3. That way you know which direction it continues on for the rest of the graph. But just make sure you always plot and make the curve connecting to the points for the ones we actually can plot on the graph, somewhere in the middle ranges. Alright, so one last one, just to kind of show the general process one more time. So we have our negative x to the fourth plus 4x squared minus 3x minus 3. So we're at negative 39, positive 3, positive 3, negative 3, negative 3, negative 9, negative 57. So we can plot negative 2, 3, negative 1, 3, 0, negative 3, 1, negative 3, 2, negative 9. And again, looking at the extremes, negative 3 is at a negative value, which means you're coming from below. Hit that first point. Now, it looks like it goes horizontal, but we know the graph will never look horizontal. It's always going to be a smooth curve. So what I would recommend is just kind of like make a little hump. So kind of go up and then back down. Hit our points, so then go down and back up. And then we go back down again, and it looks like that. Maybe the hump was after the 0 here, so maybe it would have humped up and then down. Again, we're just making a basic sketch, plotting the points, kind of showing it's a general smooth curve. Either one of those options is perfectly fine. I'm willing to bet, based off how the graph looks, it probably did hump downwards and then goes back up to hit the point at 1, negative 3. But again, if you look at the actual graph, you can see what's really happening there. Not really necessary to do these particular curves. Alright, so that's all we're talking about right now for sketching the polynomial functions. So just make sure you do a basic sketch like that, plotting points and following the smooth curve the best you possibly can. Ultimately, if you're not quite sure how the curve goes, I have no problem with you looking at the actual graph in the window range from negative 10 to 10 to make sure your curve looks something similar to that. That's perfectly fine. But make sure you fill out the table of values. I will be grading you based off the table of values created and your actual plots. So if your plot looks accurate because of the graph curve, but you don't have a table of values, you're not getting all the full points. So make sure you always create a table. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.